All right. So, Tats, do you got a great segue
Yes.
for us, or do you want to just jump into it?
I don't really have a segue, so I
Yeah, I
am.
I
think by talking about the segue, you kind of destroy any
no,
attempt at a
no,
segue.
no. I want to see if you had one though.
Furthermore, my wife just brought in one of the kittens into the office because we think he may have a fever, but our
Aw.
office is closed, so I'm kind of cuddling with the cat. So I apologize if I seem a little like cutting with my words because sometimes I might be petting him. Anyway,
The kitty needs your attention. Go to him.
he kind of does, but he always does. So, and that'd be a forced segue. My wife and I have recently started a new anime, and both new to us, and I guess it's still ongoing at the moment. Which we normally don't watch anime, like we wait for anime to be finished. Different for us, our normal schedule, but it's called Kakuriyo Bed and Breakfast for Spirits.
Yeah, I saw this one when looking through with OBS, like I can't months ago or something when we looked through the upcoming anime.
There was not.
It is published by Gonzo, so there is, if you're a fan of that studio house, then you know the levels onto that on spec. But essentially the main character, Aoi, she has the ability to see spirits, and or they call them ayakashi, but spirits in general.
Yeah.
And she recently has lost her grandfather, who also could see spirits. And he taught her that because people who can see spirits will often be targeted by them, food with her in order to placate the spirits. You know, they'll be hungry. That your spiritual energy may have them wanting to eat you, so you give them a nice homemade meal and they'll eat that instead and leave you alone. So she's walking down the street and she sees a random Ayakashi wearing a very creepy Oni mask, and so she gives him some food and leaves. And as thanks, he whisks her away to the to the world.
Really, as thanks.
Between worlds. Yeah. And come to find out that her grandfather used to stay at the bed and breakfast that this Oni runs, and had run up a huge tab, and before she was born, promised his firstborn granddaughter away as betrothal as a form of collateral based on his debt.
I
So,
feel like this wouldn't stand much in a modern court, but all right.
and so she's like, no. How much does grandfather owe you? I'll work it off. And so she kind of like starts to take up a job at the bed and breakfast. So it almost has this little bit of a Spirited Away feel in that regard.
I would say because he kind of literally spirited her away. So,
And so, I mean, there's only 7 episodes out so far, but they have been signed on for 26 episodes, and I think they've signed for a second season, but maybe not yet.
Well, if it's 26, then it's 2 cores, which
Yeah.
is for Japan at least. That's like 2 seasons.
There's gonna be 26.
Because it'll be this season, which is, what are we in spring?
Yes,
I guess technically.
we're
So yeah,
we're
you'll
spring.
get 13 in spring and 13 in summer or whatever.
So it releases on Mondays at 10:30 on and if you're following on different media that do like the simulcast, like Crunchyroll, I don't know anybody else who does like that type of thing, but it releases on Mondays at 10:30 in the morning. So they're up to episode 7 so far. So they're still early on in it, and we've only watched through episode 5. We haven't watched.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yet.
This actually looks interesting.
I love that simulcasting is becoming a thing because it's you get English or Japanese at the same time.
That is pretty sweet.
It's pretty adorable. It does have more shoujo-y kind of aspects, but I wouldn't call it a shoujo.
Well, no. So looking at it, it looks like it was a light novel with a female demographic.
Yep.
It's currently still on running, 2015 to the present, 8 volumes. And then it was also a josei manga, which is older women. 16 to the present, 4 volumes still going. So yeah, I think they definitely have the room to grow. But yeah, it's a josei, so.
But
Not
the anime
quite
has those tropes, but there's a distinct from of josei versus seinen. It's definitely much more towards the middle. It is at least the anime is. I don't know how the manga or the light novel compares, but the anime is a little bit more middle of the road.
For those of you who don't know what those terms mean, josei just refers to the older, or to women that are in teens or adulthood. Seinen is generally marketed
15 to 45.
Yep, seinen means is a market towards young adult men, and shoujo is aimed at teenage females in general. So, just for everybody who didn't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's adorable. It is. It is. That's really the best word for it. There's a lot of cute situations, as you'd expect.
Going off of this picture, which is her and a lot of guys. Is it a reverse harem?
So far, it's not. There is the Oni who owns the bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
There is a Yuki Onna who is doing everything she can to win his affection, and so she hates the main character.
Of course.
You have the Kyubi who's helping her out, and I think he's interested in her, but I don't know how much it's her and how much it's her cooking.
Yeah, I just love you for your cooking, honey.
And so far, the only other major players have been this Spider Spirit and his sister, but they're kind of like a tangential thing. They're not really part of that core dynamic. So I guess it might be a little bit of a love triangle between her, the Oni, and the Kyubi, but I haven't seen so much affection for the Kyubi yet. But again, we're only episode 5, so
sure,
it may develop.
What are you eating? That's the way. What are you eating?
Let's see. If I go to my preferred manga site,
I might actually watch this because I find.
Oh.
Generally,
I think you and your fiance will enjoy it a lot. It is very good.
I've been finding myself more and more pulled toward demographic based.
The manga site I use has extensive tagging, and although only one chapter had been translated, so who knows? But it does not have the reverse harem tag, so
safe. You're safe this time.
Just curious. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. What really though, when I first saw this, I had to double check that it wasn't another one because it had a lot of familiar they're not actually the same, but there's a Kami-sama Kisei or Kiss, I guess, actually. Okay. Which is it because when I saw the picture, I didn't really know who the male focus was on this one. But Kami-sama has a girl with a deadbeat dad or whatever who and she ends up being thrown into a spirit realm situation thing. And but the main Oni or yokai, was a kitsune or whatever. So it was just kind of funny. That one is definitely reverse harem, but
this one, romance in it. It's not the focus of it. It's not heavily played upon. It is.
Are the episodes more like slice of life type stuff? Or not necessarily slice of life, but working is the focus. Working in the bed bath or whatever it's called, bed and breakfast is the focus. It's not fighting or something or
no.
Lots of dates or something, I guess.
It so part of it is that the fox had a so when she's trying to find work within the bed and breakfast, nobody wants to use her, partially because she's human, partially because whatever superstition, like the kitchen, for example, no women are allowed to enter for whatever. There's probably some spiritual significance that I don't actually recognize because it's run by Daruma heads. But going outside and going out back and finding this little hut in the middle of a clearing, and she finds out that the kitsune had tried to run a tea shop there, but he was closing it down because that you have the eight directions, north, south, east, west, and then northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast, are each governed by a different Ayakashi prince. And in the northeast is where this bed and breakfast lies, and in fact the Oni is the leader of it. Speaking, the northeast is the most unlucky direction for something to come in Japanese spirituality. And so in this case, the house, the tea house, happens to be located in the most unlucky place within the northeastern quadrant or section, and so everything before it has failed and failed miserably. And she decides to open up a eatery at this establishment that has an unlucky past. And so at least the first 5 episodes have been her coming to terms with wanting to open it and starting to work on opening it. But it has been the interactions with the characters that lead up to her making that decision. So it's still very grounded and very down to earth slice of life in that feeling. As I said, like the first 2 episodes, she's looking for a job. They do kind of a trip episode, but it's more to establish more characters, I feel, than it is anything, as opposed to it being about a date.
I see.
So yeah. But it's pretty enjoyable so far.
I mean, just based off of the picture, it was one I was gonna look into.
Yeah, actually, this looks interesting. I kind of want to.
I definitely like the art design.
I like the fact that
sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say like I was just gonna agree with you and say I even like the fact that the title itself has a very rainbow color, even if it's only purple.
And I will say the intro song to it I really love, but I'm also a sucker for putting in like shamisen and kodo with guitars and drums. And if you like that style, the intro song is amazing.
It got me hooked. I can already hear its siren call of sweet Japanese melodies with modern musical instruments.
Let's see. My anime list recommendations. Top 1 is Kami-sama.
Oh.
So I'm not the only one. It's only like 3. And then a bunch of ones I don't recognize. The other recommendations don't look like a lot of people have done the recommendations field, but it's still a really new anime, so that's not surprising.
It's like, according to Crunchyroll, at least they have a rating of a 4.7, 4.9, something like that. It's hard to tell just from the stars. They don't have a numerical.
Yeah. Anime List right now has it at 7.17 and is ranked just under 3,000, or just above 3,000, and 2,000 in popularity, for whatever that means. I don't really know how that ranks against other stuff. I'm just looking at the page. But yeah, it's still ongoing, so we'll see how that, I guess, shakes out.
And I will say, to me, it's not a big deal, but my wife was surprised when she found herself saying this. It has the most adorable spiders that you will ever see in a series. And the reason why I bring that up, the 2 siblings that I was talking about, they're the spider spirits, or I guess they're kind of Jorogumo without saying Jorogumo. But the spider that they can transform into, like they have their big version, but then they have like this little, like it looks like a stuffed animal spider, and it is fluffy and adorable, and you're just like, I didn't know spiders could be that fluffy.
It's gonna have to be a pretty tall bar to beat a Joltik.
I was just thinking, like, I don't know, man. Joltik are pretty adorable.
It is close to on par with Joltik. It's not quite Joltik level, but it is very close.
Gosh damn, how do you beat Joltik? It's adorable.
You can get close.
Look at it. Just look at it. Bam. Oh my god, that is adorable. What the hell?
Yeah, and under the I just showed an image in Discord for the people that are confused. But under the bandages, there's a little like comical, cartoony skull on his abdomen. So it's
Oh, that's adorable. Oh my gosh. All right. I don't know if I can handle this cute overload right now. Not of adorable little spiders.
It's good though so far, and as far as we've gotten, it's definitely a recommend from us.
I'm gonna probably end up looking into this. I'm kind of looking for anime to watch. Got me already. Sold me on the products.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know that I have much more to add to it. Besides that, I'm looking forward to the next episode.